Hello guys, welcome to the second episode of Stats Lab. Week number 4 of the SPL is in the book. Let's take a look at some of the statistics, some of the top statistics of the players who are playing the best in the SPL right now. I've got my dog here behind me. She's chilling on the bed. So, keeping me company here in lonely Australia. But anyway, let's get right to it. Let's take a look at our primary stat first, KDA. Now, you may notice something about the spreadsheet. I've actually added games played in here and average kills, average deaths, average assists, so on and so forth. We'll be talking about those. I saw some comments asking for looking at that kind of stuff in games played because it can vary between player to player, and that can impact maybe who's getting more kills per game and stuff like that. And so I decided, you know what, I can do that. I'll add that. So I've done it. But let's look at KDA first. Adapting yet again on top with a solid 16.58 KDA, not the same as the 22 from last week. He did double his deaths this week pretty much. I think he went from 7 to 12, or he went from 6 to 12, something like that. Still, he's playing out of his mind. If you look as well at his kills and assists, he has participated in 199 kills this split. 199 kills he's been a part of, and he's claimed 92 of them for himself. He's only died 12 times. He's playing lights out at the moment. If you look at KDA 2, where you halve the assists as well, it's still a fantastic 12.13. So adapting, playing a beast, best player in the world right now, best player in the world ever as well in his current run of form. So he is the GOAT in terms of Smite professional gameplay. Next up, we also have his teammate Yaman, who, if adapting was not on his team, Yaman would be talked about as the best player in Europe. I think he might get eclipsed by a couple of the North American players in terms of like Baskin and stuff, who's having a fantastic season as well. The difference between Yaman and Baskin, you can see Baskin's all the way down here. He's got more kills than what Yaman has got, but he's got lower KDA because he's died a bit more, and so Yaman plays a bit safer, and I think that's really a good talking point, is that Baskin puts more kills on the board for his team, but Yaman doesn't give a whole lot of kills to the enemy team. You see, Yaman's got he's got less than half the deaths of that what Baskin has, whereas he's got about 2/3 as many kills. And I kind of prefer that playstyle, to be honest, because Yaman doesn't need to, with adapting on his team, Yaman doesn't need to be going out there and getting all these kills. Adapting is going to do that, and if adapting doesn't do that, someone like Emilitu can step up and do that. You see, Emilitu's got 55 kills himself. So I think Yaman's play at the moment is superb, is really superb, and he's being overshadowed by adapting because adapting's having an insane performance. But Yaman is playing super well at the moment. Make sure you guys pay attention to this NRG squad, especially with them having such a hard-fought set against Dig, going the distance 2-1, and they managed to come up with top. That is the kind of resolve that's really making me believe in this NRG team, because we saw another best-of-3 situation with them earlier, where they won the first game against Rival and then fell down in the next two. In this case, they dropped the first game to Dignitas, and they didn't fall into that same kind of pit. They picked themselves up, and they were able to win the set. And this is evidence of good coaching. A little bit of bias here from my friend Ro, who is the coach of NRG, another Australian, just like the coach of Dignitas Big, he's an Australian. And you can really see what they're bringing to these teams. They're bringing this resiliency and a lack of... you don't really see NRG tilting as much anymore. They used to be, famous for raging and maybe tilting a little bit, but their resolve is incredible at the moment. I really can't wait to see them test at LAN. Next up, we have all 5 members of Team Rival, which is pretty extraordinary. Now, this is what makes Team Rival dangerous. Team Rival is at their most dangerous when they are the underdogs. Right? We've seen them come through and be fantastic. And they're the most dangerous when they're underdogs. And the reason they are so successful is because they play so well as a team. And this is evidence of them playing so well as a team. Very low deaths across the board for them. So their front lines are going in, and it's paying off with their carries picking up kills across the board and keeping their front line alive, which allows them to snowball more, to get more farm, to get more experience, and allows them to push that lead and for them to take a game. I cannot wait to see Rival face Dig and face NRG again. Rival versus NRG in the last week of the SPL might be the most important set of the entire first split, because that could be the difference between Dignitas or Rival going to LAN. And that, I think, kind of early prediction here, I think the LAN finals would be NRG versus one of those two teams. So I cannot wait to see that matchup. I think it is super important, and you should make sure you tune into that one. We see some North American representation here with Jeff Hindler, and then Oceans. Oceans, of course, had that fantastic one set, so he doesn't really have a whole lot of games played, as you can see here. But discounting him, then you got Arkle from Team Dignitas, who is having a really solid split for himself, especially in ADC, where it's a bit harder to be noticed, this split. You got HughZ, Aquarius. FinerK's really had a drop down here in terms of KDA, still in the top 20. But with CLG, in their last 3 sets, they've gone 0-6, haven't picked up a game in their last 6 sets. In their last 3 sets, I should say, which is troubling, but I have enough confidence in this team that they can pick themselves back up. But FinerK, his stats have suffered as a result. So that's KDA. Let's take a look at kills, and, no surprises here. Adapting on top once again. Baskin in second, Mask in third, exactly the same as it was last week. Adapting's had 1 more game than Mask and 2 more than Baskin, but if you look at the average kills per game, even if you added these average kills onto Baskin, he would still be behind Adapting. So Adapting, obviously, he's got the highest average kills per game. Playing just absolutely, I've gone on enough about Adapting. I don't need to say it anymore. But he's just having an incredible split. Baskin, also having an incredible split. The best player in North America right now. And, a lot of people think he's contending for best player in the world with Adapting. Numbers don't lie. Adapting is better. Adapting is simply better. Mask is really been the driving force behind Trifecta. Him and Scary D, and it's no surprise that they're the top 2 in kills, but they've both done kind of similar things. They kind of seem to be the ones leading the momentum of Trifecta, leading their in-game tactics and strategy and things like that. And on a team that has Zapman on it, who is this veteran player, superstar or former superstar, former best in the world kind of thing, you would think he would be more the leader, but Mask is a veteran now. Scary D is a veteran now. They've both played at Worlds. They've both played with Jeff and Barra. They've both been on some fantastic teams. These guys are veterans now, and so while it might be a little bit of a surprise to see him leading it, it really shouldn't be, and I'm really glad that these guys are stepping up, because these guys are like the second generation of Smite players that are really coming through and being these top players and leaders. We got Captain Twig here in the Force of What, the second most in EU. I put out a little poll that said, Adapting has the most kills in Europe. Who has the second most? And then what's the difference? And only one person guessed. A few of you voted for Captain Twig, but only one person actually commented Captain Twig, and no one got the kill difference right. Everyone was far too conservative. I was seeing a 1 or 2 kill difference between Adapting and Cubo Fred, or 8 kills, him and Wolfie. It's 28 kill difference between the top 2 in EU. Now again, junglers are dominating the top kill counts. All right, then you got Ice Ice Baby is the second lowest, and then Cheerio was the lowest on Mouse. Right, but all the other junglers are up here in this top 20 position. We've got 2 mids and an ADC in here as well, so no surprise that those guys are getting kills. But still, jungle is the role to be this season if you want to be the carry of your team. That's why Adapting's doing so well. This is his meta. But guys like Captain Twig having a pretty decent split, a lot of deaths for himself, which he needs to cut back on. Weekend's having a great split for Luminosity. Cuvo Fred's having a fantastic split as well. Screams, now that United's starting to get some wins on the board, is doing really well. Same with Homofay, even though they're dropping games. Andy's getting back into his groove. Sino's had a pretty decent split, although his deaths do outweigh his kills. Fails, he's going even here, but in the win that SK had over Obey, that series win, that 2-1 series win, he looked like the standout player. He and Lobster and Fumble all really showed up, which was fantastic to see. Emilitu's got some kills, and we got Veneno, Best, Yaman. All guys that are really top tier players, so it's no surprise to see them here. Taking a look at assists now, another NRG player on the top with HughZ, 162 assists. I think I put this out in a tweet. He had something like 57 assists this week over 5 games. So that's about 10 a game. I mean, that's what his average assists are. But that's, and this is and people talking about, he's played more games than people. Jeff Hindler's played 2 less games than him. And again, if you add on the average assists, he still doesn't make it. So this is a tremendous effort here from HughZ to put himself in that tough spot. And it really he's really coming along with this NRG squad. I love the way that NRG are playing right now. Carlos in second with 149, Jeff in third, Neilmar dropping just out of that top 3. I really wanted to be in the top 3 this week so I could put him in the graphics since I forgot him last week, which I feel really bad about. But then a little bit of surprise here with Yaman at 127 assists, the only person in the top 5 who's not a support. And I guess this, again, really speaks to the NRG playstyle where Yaman doesn't have to get all these kills, but he's dealing out all this damage and he is playing very safe, so he's doing his job really, really well. Then we got Aurora here, who was the leader last week, but with their losses this week, and he's actually played the most games out of anyone of supports with their losses. I guess they've lost all their sets 0-2, so they went 0-4 this week. All those losses didn't really get a chance to put many assists on the board. Ice Baby having a good solid split. I think his style of jungling is a little less carry oriented. Like you saw last season, he really was fantastic because it was these warrior junglers, and this is more his play style where he's getting in the face, being a bruiser, not necessarily carrying, getting a huge number of kills on the board, but really setting up for the rest of his team to do stuff. Even though I think he might have the top amount of kills on him. No, Wolfie's got the most kills on his team. Wolfie's playing absolutely out of his mind, by the way. So this rival squad is definitely one to watch out for. Jigs, despite them going 0-6 to this week, 0-4 this week, 0-6 over the last 3 sets, still got a high number of assists. Deathwalker's got a lot, PBM's got a lot, the other 3 members of NRG, so all of these guys in NRG having over 100 assists is pretty damn incredible. So shout outs to them. I will take a brief look now at average kills, average deaths, and average assists. We talked a little bit about them as we went through each topic. We didn't really talk about average deaths because deaths we talk about that more in KDA. So I'm not going to really do a whole lot on average deaths. But average kills, we're going to ignore Oceans here. But you can actually see that Adapting and Baskin have the top 2, and they were the top 2 in terms of kills. But Captain Twig actually is 3rd in average kills. He's played 1 less game than Mask, and you can see he's got 3 less kills. So that's why in the kill rankings he was below. But he's got more kills per game than Mask, and this is what some of you wanted to see. Here you go. So you can see a more accurate representation. Cuvo Fred contributing a lot for his team, 4.3 kills per game. Andy as well. And again, oops, that's some former stuff. Don't want to mess that up. You can see again the top average kills are all junglers. All junglers. Jungler is the spot to be this year. Average assists. Emil's on top. The only person with double-digit average assists. So he's averaging over 10 assists per game. That means even in losses, he's averaging over 10. Actually, that's not accurate to say. I should actually do a separate thing for that. But still, for all his games, he's averaging 10.1 assists per game. Pretty fantastic. When you consider no one else has got that many. Even in average kills, the highest average kills with Adapting, who's got 92, he is still not even close to double digits. So Emil's is having himself a fantastic split, really pushing himself towards that top support spot in the world. And then we got Carlos, Jeff, Neil, so on and so forth. More supports. Yami's up here as well. But yeah, Emilzy, fantastic split. And guys, numbers don't lie. But they don't tell the whole truth, which is the other important thing, which is why you need to make sure that you guys tune into the games. They're on 4 days a week, mixer.com/SmiteGame. Fantastic gameplay at the moment. As everyone has been tweeting out, Smite has never been closer, particularly in North America. In Europe, the level of skill has never been higher. The gap might be a little bit wider in Europe between the top teams and the bottom team, but the level that the people are playing at is, I think, higher than ever. And that really shows in how close the games between the top 3 are, especially, as I was saying, NRG, Dignitas, and Team Rival. And it's going to be 2 of those 3 that are going to the land, the spring land. And in North America, who knows? United went from last place to 2nd. Space Station is sitting in top, but they've played less games. CLG has dropped the ball a little bit, but they still have the potential to come back. Splice is sitting in last spot, but they're by no means a pushover. They're pushing every team to their limit. Trifecta and LG as well are threats to be taken very seriously. So I couldn't tell you who's going in North America. If I had to put some money down, I'd probably say Space Station and E United. is probably I think the way I see it going. Although if CLG repeat what they did last time against Space Station, then it'll be United and CLG. Again, there's 3 teams there, but I think the possibility of some of the lower teams coming in and upsetting that is a lot higher than it is in Europe. But that's going to do it for Stats Lab for week number 4 of the SPL. Comment in the video or on Twitter anything you'd like me to see do more. You guys said to put in games played and average kills and all stuff like that. I did that. Anything more you guys like to see, please let me know. I want to make this as enjoyable to watch as possible, and I want to put the stuff in here that you guys want to see. So let me know. My Twitter's @HughZ. Comment on the YouTube video. Thank you guys so much for showing all the support you have towards all the stuff on my Twitter and on my YouTube. I'm not doing this for views or anything like that. I'm just doing this because I love talking about Smite. And it's really great to see that there are people out there that like listening to me talk about Smite and like watching this kind of content. So shout outs to you guys. Anyway, that is it for week number 4 of Stats Lab. Catch you next time.